Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about an article published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Health Forum, and this was published in April 2025. The title of the article is What Happens if Medicare Covers Anti-Obesity Drugs? So why does this matter? Well, there are over 100 million Americans who are living with obesity, and 30 million of those individuals are over the age of 65. There are some really exciting new medications that have come on the market, like the GLP-1 receptor agonists. You may have heard of some of those. They include Semaglutide, which is sold as Ozempic or Wegovy, and Tirzepatide, which is sold as Zepbound. But despite the fact that these medications have been shown to help people lose weight and manage their blood sugar and lower their risk for things like heart disease and sleep apnea, Medicare still doesn't cover these medications when they're being used for weight loss. They will cover them if you're using them for diabetes or for heart disease. So this study, what did they look at? They took a close look at what would happen if Medicare did start covering these medications for obesity. And they used a simulation model to estimate what that would look like over the next 10 years. So from 2026 to 2035, now they focused on people who are 65 or older with obesity or with weight-related health problems. They excluded people who are already getting these drugs because Medicare already covers them when you are using them for other conditions like diabetes or heart disease. They looked at different scenarios based on the number of people who would take the medication and how well they would adhere to it, and also different drug pricing scenarios to estimate the total costs and savings. Let's talk about some of the key results. In the most realistic scenario, they found that roughly 30 million Medicare beneficiaries would be eligible for coverage under this new policy. About 3 million people would actually start the treatment. Over 10 years, the estimated cost of the drugs would be $65.9 billion, but there would also be healthcare savings of $18.2 billion from reducing the complications of diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. So even in this more realistic scenario, they found that the net increase in Medicare spending would be about $47.7 billion. They also looked at more optimistic scenarios where they lowered the price of the drugs and also lowered the percentage of people who would use them. And even in those scenarios, they found that the net spending still went up, but it went up by as little as $8 billion. So what does this mean for the market? This is really important information for a couple of reasons. First of all, it shows that there is a huge market that could be unlocked if Medicare starts covering these medications for obesity. And secondly, it shows that there is real health value that can be delivered by these medications. When we think about the impact that these medications can have on preventing and managing chronic conditions like diabetes, sleep apnea, and heart disease, this is really important information. There is growing momentum for policies like the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act, which has bipartisan support in Congress. This legislation would require Medicare to cover the cost of obesity medications for people who are eligible. So if you're interested in staying up to date on this important issue, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more updates.